Is there only one true religion? I have already commented on this question as part of the answer to the previous question. Yet I desire to give you a deeper understanding. The answer to the question of whether there is only one true religion is yes and no. There is only one true religion, but that religion is the universal, inner religion of God. On planet Earth, there is no such thing as one true religion. There are many true religions because there are many religions that teach elements of the universal path. I earlier stated that there are many ways to express the truth of God. Therefore, there can be many religions who all teach a particular version of the truth of God and of the universal path to God's kingdom. No religion could possibly give you a complete understanding of God. This understanding is simply beyond words. If you will think about this, you will realize why. The scriptures state that if everything that I said or did should be written down, the world itself could not contain the books that should be written. This is a slight exaggeration on the part of the author of this particular passage. Nevertheless, the statement does apply to the truth of God. God has created the entire world of form, a world so vast that no human being could possibly grasp the grandeur of God's creation. If one were to write down a complete description of all that God is, planet Earth simply could not contain the books that should be written. However, it would not be possible to express in human words the totality of God's being. The inner mysteries of God simply cannot be expressed through words. No religion could possibly give an accurate description of God. The importance of this statement is that the only way to know God is by looking beyond the outer teachings and doctrines found in any religion. The only way to know God is to discover the universal, inner path behind the outer religion. One truth, many religions. Why are there many religions in the world? I earlier stated that God does not need religion. God is a self-contained spiritual being. God does not need to be worshipped. God does not need to be admired. And God does not need to be feared. Therefore, God does not bring forth a particular religion because God needs that religion. God brings forth a particular religion because a particular group of people need that religion. Take a look at planet Earth today, and then look at the history of humankind. If you were to characterize the human experience with one word, that word would have to be diversity. This small planet has witnessed an incredible diversity in the form of many different groups of people. Based on my personal experience as a spiritual teacher, it is obvious to me that it simply would not be possible to design one religion that would appeal to all people for all time. Therefore, a particular outer religion is given by God in an attempt to appeal to a specific group of people living at a particular time. In some cases, a religion is meant to be short-lived. In other cases, God hopes that the religion will take on a more timeless, long-standing quality. Yet you must understand that God has absolutely no desire to see one religion replace or suppress all other religions. Religious conflict is meaningless. I have a very deep desire to help you understand that the most meaningless of all human conflicts is a conflict over religion. All true religion, meaning all religion that is inspired from above, has one purpose and one purpose only. Religion is meant to serve as a step ladder that will help people ascend into our Father's kingdom. In other words, true religion is meant to help you graduate from Earth's schoolroom as quickly as possible. As I have already said, the key to entering the kingdom of heaven is to recognize the unity behind all diversity and thereby overcome all sense of separation and division. Therefore, nothing is more sad than to see people use religion as a source of division and conflict. When the relativity of the death consciousness is allowed to pervert people's attitudes towards religion, religion inevitably becomes the source of conflict. That conflict binds people even more firmly to the death consciousness, and this prevents them from ascending back to heaven. Therefore, religious conflict is always in direct opposition to the purposes of God. Religious conflict always works against God's reason for bringing forth religion on this planet. If you consider yourself a religious or spiritual person, you simply must overcome all sense of division and conflict concerning religion. You must have an uncompromising respect for other people's right to follow a religion that is different from your own. It is perfectly acceptable to share your religious beliefs and experiences with other people in an attempt to inspire them. However, I do not desire to see my followers try to convert anyone to a particular outer religion, even a Christian religion. You might recall that I told my disciples to go out into the world and make all people my disciples. Yet I did not mean that I wanted all people to become members of a particular outer Christian church. I am Jesus Christ, and I am a follower of the inner mystical path to God. I want all people to follow that inner path. I want all people to be my disciples, but only in the sense that they follow the universal path to individual Christhood. That path is an inner path, and you can follow that path no matter which outer religion you belong to, even if it is a non-Christian religion. Because the path is an inner path, it does not require membership of a particular outer religion. Let me conclude this section by making one thing absolutely clear. The representatives of God are very well aware of the conditions found on earth. We know how the death consciousness can turn a true statement into a relative doctrine. We know about the power elite who will do anything to gain absolute power. Therefore, we are perfectly aware of the risk associated with bringing forth religion on this planet. Because of that risk, we simply do not grant a patent to any human being or any organization. No religion ever has had a patent on God, and no religion will ever be granted such a patent. The reason so many Christians believe that Christianity must be the only true religion is that they believe I was the only Son of God. If I was the only Son of God, then obviously the church that I founded must be the only true church. I hope you have now realized that the idea of me being the only Son of God is false. Therefore, it should be easy to accept that Christianity is not the only true religion found on planet Earth. Let me make one thing clear. Anyone who engages in religious conflict is not one of my true followers. Nothing is more sad than to see a human being who uses religion to justify the killing of one of his brothers or sisters. I hope you realize that there is no such thing as a holy war. The idea that it could possibly be justified to kill someone in the name of God can originate only from the relativity and selfishness of the death consciousness. It has absolutely no reality in God. If you consider yourself to be one of my true followers, then make peace with those of your brothers and sisters who follow a religion that is different from your own. If you cannot or will not make peace with your brothers and sisters, how could you possibly hope to make peace with your God? If you have not made peace with your God, how could you possibly hope to enter his kingdom?